Okay. Hello, everyone. So today, I've decided to do a video to talk about something that happened to me recently that has been extremely emotionally like gut-wrenching in a way. So I wanted to share the experience and I wanted to relate it to the things that we talk about in coaching, to the things that we talk about healing as a collective of womanhood, of the feminine collective. I want to talk a lot about this because this is really important. It is not just about the women collective, but it's also just in general about the healing process. And this is even more special if you are a woman listening to this, because obviously I am a woman and I experienced this from another woman. And so this makes it a little bit even more special if you're a woman listening to this. This is something that I've been contemplating a lot, and it's also been the inner work that I have been doing for years. It started when I looked maybe about 2-3 years ago, when I started looking into my relationship with the mother wound. And so the mother wound is really the root of all the feminine wounds, right? But before we go deep into the coaching, I wanted to share with you what happened, because this is really disheartening, and it just it kind of shocked me. I apologize for any background noise. In this neighborhood, people chit chat late night, so oh well, like you can still hear me though. Okay, so I've been traveling for probably like a month now, and I've come back to Vietnam, my home country. And while I was traveling, I was walking on the street and I saw this really cute dog. She's actually like sleeping right next to me right now. I'll show her in a bit. But I saw this really cute dog on the street, and so my boyfriend and I went by to kind of like give her a little pet and to say hi. And so we were kind of like hanging out with her for a couple of minutes, and then the owner walked out and she was greeting us, and she was very kind, and she says, I actually want to give you this dog. And so the language that she used was, I want to give you this dog. If you want this dog, I would give it to you. And her reasoning was that she no longer wanted a dog, like nobody could take care of a dog in her house, and she wanted to give it away. So with that reasoning, obviously my boyfriend and I, we both love dogs. So we're like, okay, cool, awesome. Like, yeah, for sure. We'll be happy to, right? So we decided, okay, we'll kind of take her in, kind of give it like a test after one night to see how the dog is doing. The dog really loved staying with us for like a night, and so we realized, okay, we actually really love her too, and everything kind of worked out. So we'll adopt the dog. We'll take the dog. The owner says, cool, you can take the dog. A week later, so we had traveled to a different city. A week later, she messaged and she says, so the language is this. She says, I bought this dog for about 8 million Vietnamese currency. I bought this dog for about 8 million. Maybe that's probably, I don't know, like 400 or 500 or something in Canadian. I can't be exact with the numbers, but it's 8 million Vietnamese dong currency. And she said, it's really up to you based on how much you want to pay me. So in my head, obviously, like intuitively right away, I knew, okay, did this lady really wanted to give me the dog, or was she selling the dog without saying that she's selling the dog? Like, because that's manipulation, right? That's just straight up like manipulation. So I asked her clearly back, are you giving me the dog? Because when you say you're giving someone a dog, it means that it's free. Or are you selling the dog? She still says, I'm giving you this dog, but you can pay me however much you desire. But she wouldn't accept any amount. She wanted an amount that was close to an amount that she paid for the dog initially. So I told her straight up, that's selling the dog. That's not giving somebody a dog. So anyway, after the situation, I feel really, really upset and mad and pissed off for like straight couple of hours, 2 days. In my head, I'm like thinking, what the hell? Like, how could you be telling somebody that you're giving them a dog and then later on you change and you say, okay, actually I'm selling this dog. But it's like she didn't even change the language. So all in all, this is huge manipulation, and this is happening from a woman to a woman. So this woman who was the owner of the dog, she's in her late like 40s, 50s. Like she's gotten grandchildren, I think, by this point. So definitely got children, possibly grandchildren, which, you know, she had shared a little bit. In my head, it's like, what takes me off the most is, how could a woman do this to another woman? And I know that this scenario happens around the globe all the time. It happens in possibly North America, in Asia, in the Middle East. It probably happens in a lot of places. And yet, I don't want to normalize something like this, because this is not something to be normalized. This is manipulation. This is not okay. And especially from a woman to a woman, it's like, what does it say about womanhood? You know, when we look at like the history of how much women have been abused and violated for our rights and for the things that, you know, we weren't equal to men. And yet, in this current society, women do not treat women with respect. So how can we say that we stand for women's right? How can we say that we stand for, you know, supporting other women if this is happening? So I actually journaled a lot of thoughts here, and I'm going to share a couple of things, because obviously in my coaching, the things that we talk about is, first of all, like when it comes to self-healing, you're not just healing for yourself. Of course, that's where it starts. You're healing your heart, you're healing your original wounds that comes from your mother, your father, etc., and you're healing your original wounds. But this healing is supposed to also, you know, be shared and spread to your community to benefit the people around you. And when you are somebody who haven't healed your wounds, haven't worked through your own trauma or your heart, automatically you are carrying and passing on this trauma and pain to the people around you. And this is what happening to this woman. Whatever that happened in her life that had made her to become manipulative, to become all of these toxic behaviors, this is something that she's passing on. And the reason why this is so important, that I wanted to literally have a conversation about this, is because this happens a lot. And it cannot be normalized. This is something that must be talked about, that must be a conversation among women to women. Because what I truly believe is, as women, we have to treat each other with even more respect than anything. Because we are here on this earth in this time to support one another, to really raise each other up as sister, as, you know, mothers and daughters and etc. Like, we are here to raise each other up, not to push each other down. There is so much work when it comes to women's right, when it comes to just women in general, like standing in their power, being empowered in all society, including North America, including Asia, Middle East. Like, all women are still doing so much work when it comes to doing, like, being of the same power in the society. And so, like, the work is that we have to raise each other up, not pushing each other down. So when I experienced this, I was really pissed off. I was like, on a personal level, I was pissed off. On a collective level, I was like, there's so much work to do here. And in a way, you know, it sucks to be on the receiving end of such a situation, and yet there is so much I wouldn't say lessons, but there is so much light to shine onto the work that needs to be done. So obviously I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a representative of like my own makeup as an Asian woman and, you know, coming from an Asian country. But I'm sure as women of different races and different ethnicities, you can relate to some of the toxic behaviors when it comes to manipulation or gaslighting or lying or any of those sorts. I'm sure you can relate to some of those, right? Perhaps it shows up in different ways, but the healing is the same, and the wounding is the same. So that's the thing that I want to touch on in this conversation. So here's something that I wrote, and this is the work that I've been doing for the past probably 3 to 4 years. As an Asian woman, I grew up being taught that I should be a nice girl. So here's where I want to distinct being nice from being a morally kind person. When we are taught to be nice, we are not exactly taught to be morally kind, even though it sounds like it. So being morally kind is completely different from being nice. The way that I'm talking about being nice is more like, you know, don't rock the boat, don't confront conflicts, don't speak up for what you need, don't say things that might, you know, like offend another person. Keep yourself shut down, keep yourself like quiet, keep yourself polite. Don't let anyone know about how you feel, because if you make them mad, you're a bad person. Like, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being nice. Whereas being morally kind is obviously a different concept. Like, that's different. But when we were younger, we're taught that if we be nice, that's the same as being morally kind. And those two things, as I grow up, completely different. However, obviously on my own path, I've just, as my own pattern, I've been so like, you know, not rocking the boat, not confronting conflicts, not having strong boundaries. And so it was easy for me to like be taken advantage of, or to be violated, or to be put in situations where I'm like, damn, like I didn't speak up for my needs. I didn't say the things that would protect me, that would stand up for myself. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. So here is the next thing. As I keep going on this path and I keep walking, and this relates a lot to Jungian psychology, talking about archetypes. When you grow up in the archetype of, let's say, the naive, right, the pure child, the one that is easily trusting people, the one that's pure, full of love and joy, you want to cultivate the archetype that is almost in contrast to that archetype, so that you become a whole person and not a one-sided person. So the whole archetype might be somebody who acknowledges that they have power, that they can exercise that power, that they can have the potential to manipulate, to abuse, to violate another person, to be like, to put their power on another, like over another person. However, that doesn't mean that you do that thing. It's something that Jordan Peterson talks about, is you need to know that you have the capability to be evil and to do things that are like just straight out wrong. But your strength and your morality lies not in the fact that you know you have that capability, but it lies in the fact that you know you have it, but you don't do it. And so that comes your strength and your courage, and also being a morally ethical person. So a lot of the times though, when we grow up in the form or the mold of like, you have to be the nice girl, we are very afraid to see our own darkness. We're very afraid to see the side of us that has this power, that is able to exercise this power, that is able to speak up for ourselves, that is able to do something to protect us, to do something important in the world, to stand up for ourselves. Like, we are almost afraid to feel that aspect of ourselves. And yet that aspect is the aspect of our matured soul, our matured psychology. And so in this situation with this woman, like, this is once again a different lesson that I'm being taught. Okay, it's time, right? It's time to go into this archetype because this is the maturity. And so in this conversation, I want to invite you, what are the different scenarios and situations in your life that invite you to activate this archetype of this person that is capable of having boundaries, of being slightly bitchy or sassy, or being able to speak up for yourself, being able to assert your power in different situations, being assertive, right? Like, what situations in your life invite you to this archetype? And the situations are not always pink and roses and rainbows and whatever, sunshine. It's more like situations where you're being taken advantage of, or situations where people lie to you or manipulate you or emotionally abuse you or even physically abuse you. Those are all the circumstances and situations that invite you to your power, even though it doesn't look like it, even though it feels like shit, even though it feels so messy and icky. So, as an Asian woman, I grew up with a lot of social, cultural, and racial expectations of, fitting in a certain mold to be accepted. And I think really the thing is to not rock the boat, or to not cause any conflicts, or to not even confront conflicts at all. And I know that as an Asian, like, it's not just Asian women that experience this, it's honestly, I've seen it in Western women, I've seen it in Middle Eastern women, I've seen it in all types of women who even grew up in the best of the best societies, like Canada, USA, or even Europe. And I've seen it in men as well, but here I'm really speaking specifically to women. And if you're a man listening to this and you relate to what I'm saying, that's great. There's no distinction between that, right? So it's the fear of, like, can I confront this person that has done me wrong? Can I confront and speak up for my needs? Can I truly express my boundaries and how I feel? But can I do that in a way where I feel protected, I feel strong, I feel safe within myself? A lot of the times we don't express those things, we don't say those things, we don't confront, is because we actually don't feel safe in our nervous system to do so. And there's nothing to, like, shame ourselves about, but it's really something to acknowledge. And I think it's something to strengthen and build our nervous system over time to be able to handle situations that are a bit, like, bigger or more intense time and time. But it's also over time, as you build your energetic boundaries, less likely that those circumstances happen in your life. And that's something that I see. It's something, I feel like each time when it does happen, though, it does deepen a certain kind of layer that is still being processed within you. So I think the conversation that, really inspired me for the past couple of hours, thinking about this, contemplating about it subconsciously, is, as women, we really do deserve to raise each other up. We are meant to be here to heal ourselves, and then to share that healing effect with other women in our community, to raise each other up, to empower each other, to educate each other, to encourage each other to step into our power, to be empowered, because that's so important in our work, when it comes to this timeline, this society, when it comes to just our community, our families. And to prevent the things that are, like, manipulative and abusive that are happening between a woman to another woman, really. I think that's really important. And that's not just a stranger to another stranger, but it can be within families, can be mother to daughter, can be grandmother, can be auntie, can be friends to friends too, can be co-worker to co-worker. This is the type of all-around relationships that we're healing when we're healing ourselves, and when we encourage others to heal themselves and to step into their power as we step into our power too. And I think, if you're listening to this, I truly believe that in this generation, we are the ones to create that change. And I know that sounds ambitious, but it's actually quite simple. You're doing it as long as you're doing your inner work. And I think that's just, it's as simple as that. I would love to see a day where women of all ages, of all racial ethnicities, of all races, ethnicities, of all types, where they come from, all types of looks, right? Hair color, eye color, skin color, whatever, in all types of status and job positions, to speak with each other, power to power, respect to respect, as if we are all equal. Doesn't matter which generation we come from, doesn't matter where we're at, doesn't matter how much we have accomplished in our life or we haven't, no matter what is our status or social background or history or etc. Like, the moment when we can talk to each other and meet each other, power to power, respect to respect, I truly believe that's the moment that we all would entirely change the world. Like, the entire community of women would be completely changed. It would be so empowering. So I'm going to end this conversation here at this minute. And if you relate to the things that I say, things that I share, feel free to mention it in the comments. And if you stay here all the way till the end, I want to say, let's rise together. Let's do this work together so that we heal ourselves, we heal each other, we heal our community, we empower ourselves, we empower each other, and we empower the world around us so that we can all go out and do the amazing things that we're meant to do. So thank you for listening to this conversation, this video. If you have found it helpful, inspiring, or amazing in any way, you found any nuggets of wisdom that you can take away that you would like to share with your friend or your family, please share this video either in the comments or in your direct message or DM. It would be so appreciated. And if you are somebody who seek for private coaching, then you can message me in my private message, and that's available as support for you as well. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.